Hi, in this video we're going to talk about how to do a free criminal background check in Michigan. To get started, visit michiganpublicrecords.org, and I'm going to leave a link in the description. You can click on that or just type it into your browser. On the home page, you will notice there's quite a few public record databases available. Some of these might be useful, but in this video I'm going to specifically focus on criminal related information, and particularly free resources you have available within the state of Michigan. So to get started, hover over other records and click on inmate search. And pretty much the criminal record is initiated typically by the police or the sheriff's department when they arrest somebody and then they charge them with a crime. And so the very first set of records you can actually get at a local level, at a local county like sheriff's department level. Typically they'll bring the person in, they'll book them, mugshots, fingerprints, they'll identify the individual, and they'll officially charge them. The next step would be they're either going to get released, they'll have to post bail, or they're going to stay in jail. And in all three situations, they will have to go see a judge. But if you wanted to look up, say like the arrest record, say the initial arrest record, most county sheriff's departments will provide this information. Not everybody. If they don't, and you really need this arrest report, you can request this information via like a Public Records Act request. But more and more sheriff's departments are kind of like using the internet a little bit better, and in providing these databases online. So I can just show you an example here. You pretty much have your information identifying the person, like date of birth, name, things like that, booking date, where they're housed. You have and then you have your charges. So two of them in this situation, and you have each sheriff's department will have their own way of displaying this information. So it's not like a single search system. And I'm not even going to look at this database. There's, like I said, you have multiple databases, and everybody has a different setup, a different search box, a different way they display information. So the main point was this is where the criminal record is initiated, at the point of arrest. And so you're able to gain access to some of these arrest databases free of charge. And that's what I'm going to be focused on, free databases that have anything to do with the criminal record. So this is the first step. And then what happens is they have to go see a judge. Anytime you show up for court to see a judge, a court document is created. Court documents are considered public records, so you're able to research this information, being part of the public. And in certain situations, they might not display the information. There are certain cases where releasing particular information might harm the case itself. But in general, you're able to look at this information. And so you have multiple courts doing different jobs. For example, you have the Supreme Court, from anything from the Supreme Court to the county trial court, and each will have their own job. Like probate court deals with probate, municipal court will do like city tickets, things like that. District court will do lower level crimes, evictions, traffic. Circuit court will do felony, which is like a higher level of a crime. And so now you just have to figure out where you can research these databases. So for example, there is the first link that I clicked on right now. Not every single county is going to be here, but I believe over 50% of them are. And so you're actually able to utilize some of these databases here. Your second option would be, and I'm going to click on the background check. At the county level, you have certain counties, particularly the counties that are more popular or that have a larger population, more populous. They will have their own databases that you can use. So, for example, in Wayne County, they have their own court of clerk's office that runs the database. Oakland County, same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how both of these would function. So you have your big county that runs their own database, and then you have this other list here, and this is about 50% of the counties, and so you have to kind of go back and forth sometimes between the two. If you know where the person was arrested, you need to find the databases for that county and research those databases. If you're not necessarily looking at arrest records, if you're just looking at a particular individual, let's say, you can, for example, research the county that they live in. Maybe if you know that they moved around, maybe their previous county that they lived in, maybe the county that they work in. And then you also might want to check the counties around those counties. So you might not have the time to research every single database, but at least you can kind of zoom in on a particular area and the surrounding areas, and that way you might research databases where you have the highest probability of a hit. So that could be based on residents, where they work, and then the counties around that location. So here's an example. For instance, all you got to do is just select criminal case records, and I'm just going to go something general here, and excuse me, can't forget about the characters. And there you go. So it looks like it's showing me the oldest records, and as you can see, this goes pretty far back. Some of these background checks, they might only go like 7 years, 10 years back. I'm looking at records from like the 80s here. So 90s, 80s. I mean, there's some pretty old records here. So let's try to find something more recent here. And when you use the search box, make sure you fill in as much information as possible to so you don't have to go through like hundreds of records like this. Anyways, so let's we can go ahead and select one of these. Let's do this one here. So this was from 2002, it looks like. And so there you go. You have your charges, for instance, home invasion, domestic violence. You have your disposition information. You have your events here. As an example, like there was a warrant signed, so there was a judge put out a warrant for the arrest, and then so you have like a little timeline here that you're looking at, and eventually there was a sentencing, and so so you have all this information. There were some fines here that they needed to pay, but it's a pretty detailed page. So you have quite a bit of. So this one is a little bit more serious. You have looks like it's a homicide here. You have the defendant. Let me see here. So this is from 2005. Like I said, some of these records go way back. Okay, so found guilty by bench. Yep. So you want to read the details here, figure out what happened. Again, there's a timeline here, and then let's see here, and then towards the end, they had the sentencing here, and you have transactions, fees, things like that here. So pretty detailed pages. And now again, this is me just researching a specific county here. So I don't know if you remember, but yeah, I selected Wayne County here. Now you have these 50% of the other counties. So you have the most populous ones. They'll typically have their own system, and then you have these smaller counties, for example. And I'm just going to select a random one here. So you have the district and then the county probate, which we don't need. And if you remember, if I go back to court records, You have circuit and district court. So you have your lower level crimes, and then you have your higher level crimes, which is like a felony. So circuit and district is are the ones that you're going to want. So you have two different court databases here that you're looking at, as you can see, circuit, court. And all you got to do is just type in a name, and it's probably has quite a few records it's going through. Maybe I should have added a little bit more information. And yes, so it's got quite a few things to sort through. And I could have also, I can also click criminal only, so I can just apply like a filter if I'm just looking for criminal information. Same thing here. You got civil, domestic. So if we just want to look at criminal information, you can just filter that out. And again, I should have put a little bit more information because it's literally sorting through like over 7,000 cases here under Smith. Okay, so once again, very easy to use. I did not use a credit card. I did not create an account. I just typed in a name. You just have to know which databases to go to. So it's a pretty simple system to use in both the circuit court and of course the county. And as you can see, this is the criminal record. You have personal identifying information. You have the charges here. You have the court actions. So it looks like it was just a ticket, and no sentencing information. So if they got sentenced, that information would be here. And I'm not going to go over a lot of these cases. I just wanted to show you how to research these court records. So keep in mind that every single arrest is going to have to go through a judge. And as you can see, a lot of these cases actually go way back. So, I mean, if you're doing research on an individual, wow. I mean, some of those cases I saw going back to 80s. So it's a pretty extensive database to use. Another thing to consider is once somebody is sentenced, they will either pay a fine or they will serve time. And so in the case that they're serving time, if it's over a year, they will have to go to a prison. And so prison records, you can research at the Michigan Department of Corrections. They provide a database. And once again, there's no credit card, there's no account. I'm researching this information for free. So go ahead, select. You have your personal information here. Earliest release date, maximum discharge date. You have your sentences. So it looks like there was a couple of them here. And it looks like this person actually had a history. So when you kind of go in and out of the system, the Department of Corrections systems, you can actually track this here. So you have things going back to 2008, and then the most recent one here in 2017. So, and I'm not picking on this person, I just picked a random individual. So, but I just wanted to show you that the system is free to use. And so we have everything from the initial arrest that you can research for free, court documents, and every single criminal is going to have to go through a judge. So you're researching court documents, which can be researched for free, just as long as you're researching the right databases, and it's kind of scattered a little bit in Michigan. So you got to do a little bit of homework to kind of organize where you want to search and what you're searching for. And then of course you have your Department of Corrections. Another thing to add to that would be the sex offender registry, and this is also a statewide system, and it's free to use. So in addition to all of those other things that we looked at, also run the name or maybe even an address around your place or wherever it may be through the sex offender registry. So with that said, you have another option here. You can use the name search on top. This is not a free tool, but it might be very useful and something you might consider. So it gathers information from public records, court records, property records, criminal information, arrest information, financial records, things like bankruptcies, potential financial lawsuits. Also has private databases, things like cell phone information, previous addresses, things like that. But it doesn't just pull records from Michigan, it goes outside the state. So it gives you more of like a nationwide look into someone's public record history and private history as well in certain situations. Why is this a great tool? Well, first of all, it combines all the databases, pretty much thousands of databases out there, into a single search system, and you're able to pretty much have access to the whole thing within a matter of moments. So it saves you a lot of time. Another thing is somebody might have had a criminal history in the Pennsylvania, let's say, or maybe New Jersey, and now they move to Michigan. If you're just doing record searches at the county level or the state level in Michigan, you're not necessarily going to see what happened in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. So it kind of gives you an opportunity to get like a big picture view regarding somebody's past. And people do move around nowadays, so it's very common that people will move from one state to another. So if you want to make sure you got all your bases covered, this is an excellent tool to use when it comes to doing your research. So once again, it's michiganpublicrecords.org. Come on down and get started on your free criminal background check in the state of Michigan. Thank you.